Hi, my name is Rebecca Roy, and I am a normal person just like most of the people you meet, but I'm also an awakening person. I am working on my enlightenment. I am working on different things to make my life better and to have myself be closer to God. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos with people with these amazing gifts that can do amazing things, and I would like to share with you. This is really hard because most people don't know these things about me, and my guides have been telling me that I need to start a YouTube channel for over a year now. And I did start it, and I had two videos up, but I took them down because I just was overwhelmed and I felt that they weren't good enough. Because that's one of the things that I needed to work on was I'm not good enough. So the nagging has increased to the point where I can't ignore it anymore. I need to do something. And I keep thinking, well, there's so many people out there with so much more knowledge than I have. And that is true, but there's also people out there that are like me, who have these gifts, who have been hiding in the closet and not telling people that they have these gifts. And the only reason that my family knows now that I have them is because I went from being on oxygen 24/7 to not. And they wanted an explanation for why. And when I told them why, they kind of poo-pooed me. So most people in my sphere are not experiencing the things that I'm experiencing, or they are experiencing them, but they think that there's something else. And when I try to give them advice, they don't want it. So I've just kind of shut up. And I found that I've had a perpetual sore throat for almost 2 years now, which is about coinciding with the amount of time that I've been trying to come out of the closet. And I think it's because I'm not allowed to speak my truth. That the people around me are just, except for my husband and my sister, everyone else doesn't want to hear it. So that's fine. You know, you have your own journey, and that's fine. But there are people out there that are going through the same kind of things that I'm going through, and they have no idea what is happening. Why am I doing this? Why am I so exhausted I can barely stand up? Because you're leveling up. And we're getting downloads from the sun, and it's changing our DNA. And because of this, we're extremely tired. We have aches and pains that we never had before. We have things happening to us that we never had before. Since I was a child, my hands would heat up, and I could heal your headache or something simple. But then when I was in my 20s, late 20s, I healed my collarbone. It was broken. It was just no, ands, if, or buts about that. And I was laying on the couch, and my kids were little kids, and they were 3 boys, and they were very rambunctious, and they're playing, and they're having a good time and everything. And I'm laying there going, oh my God, this isn't gonna work. I can't even smile without it excruciatingly hurting. And I started thinking about how when I was younger, I could heal people. And how did I do that? And I was reading this book by Thich Nhat Hanh. He's a monk, and he teaches people how to meditate. And he's one of the most amazing people I've ever read. And it got me thinking, okay, so if I stare at this candle and become the flame, then I can get my hands to heat up and put the energy into my hands, and put it on my collarbone and I can heal my collarbone. So that's what I did. And I fully believed it. I fully believed it. And I did. I healed my collarbone. I went from being in excruciating pain no matter what I did to being fully healed. And I was in the kitchen making dinner, and my husband came home and I was dancing. I think it was to Duran Duran or something. It was in the 80s. So, you know, I'm dancing and I'm having a good time, and he comes in and he's like, what? What's going on? Because he had just taken me to the hospital, you know, the previous week. And I said, oh, I healed myself this afternoon. And he's like, you did what? And I showed him, and he's like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. He's like pushing in it. Oh, it can't be real. But it was real. And so I kind of forgot about that for a while, because, you know, life just takes you on a journey and you just forget about some of the stuff. Like, I used to see visions when I was a kid, and my mom had that, and I used to share with her my visions and stuff, and I'd have little knowings, and very rarely, but sometimes I would hear something, like, stop, and you stop, and then, you know, you almost get hit by a car, but you don't. But I saw a vision of my brother. He had jeans and a white t-shirt on, and then I saw his head explode. And then a couple weeks later, he committed suicide. So after that happened, I told my guides and my angels, I don't want to know. Stop all of the visions. I don't want to see any visions. I don't want to know. You know, this is my brother who I was very close to, and I have 5 brothers, but Kenneth and I were just a few months apart, and we were very close, and I really missed him, and I just couldn't conceive of living a life without him. And so yeah, so I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know about stuff, bad stuff happening, because that's kind of what it felt like was, oh, I'm just gonna know about the bad stuff. But I did know about the good stuff too. And so in 2020, I had a visit from Jesus, and he pulled me out of my little depression pit and told me God has a plan for me. And I knew that God had a plan for me because I've used that throughout my life to help me get through all the rough patches. And so I pulled myself up, and thank God for YouTube. Thank God that there were people out there that were talking about how to get out of a depression, how to deal with anxiety, how to connect to God, how to meditate, just so many things. And I learned slowly, YouTube video by YouTube video, how to pick myself up, and to the point where I was starting to get better. And then I saw this, honestly, I have to go through my notes to find out, to give credit to the actual person. But I think it was, I don't want to say because I may be wrong. But anyways, there was a man that he was a paraplegic, and he healed himself completely, and he was walking. And I thought, if he can do that, then I can heal my lungs. So I would meditate, and I would go into my lungs, and I would visualize my my areola and my bronchi and all my veins and everything, the tissue, the whole 9 yards. I'd visualize it being healthy, and I'd breathe in God's love, and I'd send God's love out throughout all my lungs to get them healthy. And I noticed after a while that I didn't need my oxygen. It was burning my nose. So instead of dragging that tube around all the time, I just stopped dragging it around, which was amazing. You have no idea how hard it is to drag a tube around. People step on it, they put the chair on it, the dog sits on it, the dog bites it, cats bite it. I mean, it's just annoying. It's just, and you're being tugged around by your nose all the time. And people don't realize, you know, I mean, they just step on it and you're walking, you know, and you yank backwards because you're attached to the tubing. So I noticed that I started feeling better and better and better. And so I stopped using the oxygen during the day. I still need it at night. I think there's a fear factor there. So I haven't stopped using it at night, and I have to use it when I drive because the law says I have to. And I was doing really, really good, and everybody around me noticed, and I lost a ton of weight. I lost like 85 pounds because I was no longer depressed, and my doctor gave me some medication that would help me lose weight. And so I lost weight, and I could breathe better, and I was exercising, and I was meditating, and I was just starting to feel really good, and the visions came back. And this time I welcomed them, and I said, yeah, I'd like that. I'd like to have my visions again. And Archangel Michael started talking to me, and Archangel Ariel started protecting my animals and leaving me signs and symbols. And Sir Saint Germain showed me how to do a moving meditation where I send out love, starting in my house, moving out into the street, and then in the neighborhood, the state, the city, town, state, country, and then eventually around the world. And then he wanted me to say that I'm in my vision, I would be sending out love to multi-dimensions, multi-realities, and multi-generational. And so I started doing that. And I'm an artist, and I love to paint. And usually what I paint is landscapes and animals and trees. I love painting trees. And so that kind of thing, like the painting behind me is one of my paintings. But now I'm getting visions of paintings that they want me to paint of Archangel Ariel, and she's standing there and she's hovering in the sky, and she puts her arms out, and all this love is pouring out of her hands, and it's pouring out onto everyone. And then I got this other vision of this big gold, it looked like a pot, this big gold pot, and people were walking up into the gold pot, and they're in the gold water, and it's shimmery and sparkly and everything. And then there's this big pitcher coming down and pouring love water charged with healing and love into the pool, and everybody's swimming around, everybody's really super happy, and just all kinds of really weird visions, just really, really weird visions. And then I got a vision of me meditating, and the love just going around the world, because that's what I had been doing. And so I painted that, and now I'm getting other visions. And I thought, you know what? There are people out there that have all this stuff happening, and they have no idea, what to do with it, or if anybody else is having that happen. And there's other, things that are happening that aren't so great. Like, you're clearing all your karma. You came to Earth, and you had a plan. And the plan said you were gonna do this and do that and yada, yada, yada. And because you wanted to experience it and then send that experience back to God. Well, you came to Earth and you decided, that's too hard. I don't want to do that. So you didn't do it in that lifetime. So then the next lifetime, say you came in and you were your mother's sister. Or the next lifetime you came in and you were your mother's mother. And in this lifetime, you were going to clear that karma from the last lifetime that you didn't clear, but this lifetime you're going to clear that up. And I think that I was up there going, you know what? Let's just get it all done. Let's just take it all and put it in this lifetime, because my lifetime has been hard, really hard. And so I started thinking about that. That's got to be what it was. That I was just up there going, you know what? I'm done. I am just sick of tired of being. And, I didn't finish. So I'm just going to do it all. And so I've been hit, bam, 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 with one thing after another. And then I'll have a lull and everything's good. And then I'll have a bam, bam, bam. And, 10 years ago, I would have just pushed that sucker down. Because don't feel that. We will not feel that. No. But now, something comes up, I deal with it. I deal with it. I actually feel it. And I allow myself to love it, and then I transmute it out of my body into love and back out. And I don't have it in me anymore. And then when that situation comes up again, I'm neutral. I don't care. It doesn't trigger me. It doesn't set me off. So many things used to set me off, and it doesn't anymore. It doesn't. I used to have massive anxiety attacks. I don't have those anymore. Don't have anxiety attacks at all. And I used to get super depressed. I don't get depressed, but I do get discouraged because, you know, when you get so many things happen, you kind of lose hope. And there's what's called a hope grid out there right now, which a lot of people don't know about. And you can tap into the hope grid. You don't have to give to the hope grid. You just tap into the hope grid and draw some of that hope out. You can also tap into a love grid. Who would know? Who would know that? Only people that know that are people that belong to a group of people that are going through this ascension process, and they're sharing all their stuff, and they're sharing their channeling, and they're sharing their knowings, and they're sharing their visions, and so it's coming up. And so that's what this channel is going to be about. It's going to be about, you know, the things that everybody should know but doesn't. And so that it can help you, so that you can tap into the love grid and you can tap into the hope grid. And all you got to do is have the intention. I want to tap into that hope grid. Today I had to tap into the hope grid because something happened yesterday that threw me off. And I'll talk about that in another video because I don't want this video to be too long. But I was reminded by this Patreon group that I belong to that I needed to tap into the hope grid. I didn't even think about that. And they also reminded me, tap into the love grid while you're at it. And so I tapped into that, and I feel really good. I feel really good right now. And I didn't feel so great today. I felt discouraged and defeated, and you know, why do I try so hard? Because it just doesn't pan out. And that comes from having so many things happen in your lifetime that eventually you just get worn out, and you just get to the point, well, you know, things don't work for me that way. They work for other people, but not for me. But they work for everybody this way. Everybody can tap into the hope grid. Everybody can tap into the love grid, and everybody has keys and gifts that they can share from previous lives. And you'll know what the keys and gifts that you have are, and I'll explain that in my next video. But for this video, I would like to send out love to all of you that are watching this and watch it in the future. And I hope you come back, and I hope you subscribe, and please comment in the comment about anything that, you know, you're wondering about. Like, I was really wondering, why am I so tired I can't stand myself? I'm upgrading. Didn't know that. I know that now because of my Patreon group. So this is the kind of information that I'll be able to give you. Kind of information that you can't get just anywhere. And I really hope, see, I got that hope. I really hope that I'm helping some people, because that's my favorite thing to do, is to help people. So I'm sending you all love and happiness and a little hope. Have a great day. Bye-bye.